Hello, welcome back to Talk Seagulls. And we're back in the Caxton Arms again, and I'm with Brett again. It's great fun, isn't it? At this point, it's becoming very regular.
Yeah, I'm loving it. It's good. There seems to be more and more to chat about as we get closer to the season as well. So
yeah,
if you don't mind me coming back, then I'm more than welcome. I'm more than happy to come back.
I've loved having you on this, and it's been good to come back down here again. No Fatboy Slim cool stuff at the moment, but next time hopefully we've got another backdrop piece. But no, it's good to be back. There's plenty to talk about actually, because we've played another friendly. I think we've got another friendly this weekend, I want to say, and then we're creeping up towards no. Yeah, I think that's next weekend. And then we're creeping up to when they come back to England. So there's plenty of stuff going on, obviously plenty of transfer talk. Plenty of outgoings as well. And I want to get your thoughts first and foremost for mentioning names on the outgoings, because I was talking to shout out to Dogma, but I was talking to Dogma about the amount of sales and stuff, and they seem to be in somewhat agreement that it seems like you can't get too attached to our players, can you? They just because they've only got a lifespan here of a couple of years.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like I think in a couple of episodes ago we were talking about we don't want wholesale changes, we don't want to get rid of too many players, and then we've gone and done it. But most of them are fringe players, and we've kept the core ones that we want to. So yeah, like Purvis. He's left, but he's been here 3 years, and he's been here one of the longest out of everyone. So, yeah, they don't stay long. They all know, I guess, Brighton is the stepping stone to bigger things. So that's why they come here.
It's accepting where you are in the food chain, isn't it? Yeah. But then, you're always going to be in that constant turnover, aren't you? Of be like, you're 1 year you're looking at Europa League, and then it feels like that whole team that was in that 2022-23 season is pretty much gone now, apart from Mitoma, Dunk, and Van Hekken sort of didn't really play then, did he? Because it was Colwell. So Dunk and Mitoma are really the only two players that still are in that first 11. Yeah,
that doesn't seem that long ago, is it? So like I said, there's another couple of transition seasons, and we were hoping this next one won't be, but it's kind of looking like it might do, because we got a whole new defence pretty much. We've got a couple of new strikers, got a few new midfielders, so who knows? It
is a bit like that, I think. I mean, the amount of sort of midfielders we've got has been talked about a lot. But one of them stood out in Las Palmas game was Matt O'Reilly. And Matt O'Reilly is a player that was linked with a move away towards the beginning of the summer, if you remember. There's talk of him going to Napoli. There was talk of him going to Roma. It looks like Roma are still interested in him, if you believe social media. Which, to be fair, it's come from pretty credible sources, so I think they are interested in him. There was a few quotes, wasn't there, back in the day of him sort of being a little bit fed up with football. I think he was in a bit of a bad place mentally. I don't think it was so much about being here. There's bits and pieces about the manager, wasn't there, playing him out of position, but most of the stuff was off the pitch problems. But it seems as though, based on the last quotes where he said he seems to be happy here now, or at least he's enjoying himself a little bit more. That was a really promising performance, I thought, in the, it's only pre-season, but it was a promising performance based on what he was saying a few weeks ago, if you like. Yeah,
so like he's wanting to play in more of a number 8 role. But we were stacked for players in that area. And then obviously he had his off-the-field problems, so it never quite clicked. He had the injury. He never quite got his confidence back. But towards the end of last season, he was getting better and better, I thought. So to lose him would be a shame. But like that last game, the way that he closed down the defenders and scored from long distance, I thought was great. And then like he teed up, was it Ayari? Was it?
Yeah.
For the goal, like just sliding it across the 6-yard box for a tap in. Like he's looking sharp. So he's one I'd want to keep.
I mean, I've got the quote here. He said, "People are good at twisting your words, but I'm having fun here, so no stress for me. For me, it doesn't matter where I play," which is contrary to what he said before, but as long as I'm having fun on the pitch, and I was having fun today, and obviously that was said after the Las Palmas game. So, I mean, as long as he's having fun on the pitch is a good sign, I suppose, because, that's one thing that towards that period where we went on such a barren run of not getting wins, it looked like we're a little bit disjointed. Whereas, as you say, those last few games of the season, particularly against Spurs and Liverpool, you could really see a bit more togetherness about the squad, I'd say. The celebrations when, Matt O'Reilly scored, it looked like he was having fun. Hinchwood obviously contributed to quite a few goals at that point. So it seemed like the squad was in a better place. But probably O'Reilly's one that I think would be way too premature to leave this summer. But at the same time, based on his qualities, I mean, you'd probably say he's a bit of a late runner. He's a player that likes to play that free role a little bit.
Yeah.
He's good in the 8, obviously, but I think he's a very good sort of in the box player as well. He likes to sort of, as I say, make them runs into the box. And obviously that leads me on to the player that is being talked about as having a departure, and that is Facundo Buonanotte. And two of those players that are somewhat similar. I'd say Facundo operates a little bit differently in that he's much better in half spaces. You'd probably compare him to someone like Gruder, who obviously we spent 25 million on, so you have to keep him around. So, you've got a bit of a battle for that number 10 role, number 8 role, and those sort of free roles in midfield. Of the lot of them, I mean, who would you rather have stick around in that first 11? It's a very difficult question, to be honest.
O'Reilly, Gruder and Buonanotte.
Gruder, Buonanotte, even Jorginho,
he plays in the same role. And I guess that Simas as well plays that sort of position. Blimey. Like 4 players for 2 positions.
Yeah.
I could be diplomatic, said we need a big squad. Because in the last 2 seasons, the injuries just keep racking up. We can't be that unlucky again, but we are. So it won't make the players happy because they're obviously going to have to spend some time on the sidelines, but I think we need them all. But I want to keep Gruder.
Yeah.
And then it's out. And probably Jorginho. So then that's probably fits in why O'Reilly was thinking of leaving, because he's not in the starting 11 so much as he wants to be. But he did look like, as he said, he looked like he was having more fun towards the end of the season. And even like looking at the admin cams when the players come down the tunnel after the match, it's normally Belieber doing something stupid and Matt O'Reilly's normally having fun as well, which doesn't always get picked up on. So and then he's also the ambassador for the Albion Foundation, so he's doing stuff off the pitch. So to leave straight away was foolish. So maybe I'd keep him. I don't know.
No, I agree. This is the question I wanted to ask because it's such a hard one, and I think Facundo. For me, of all of the players that are in that young bracket, I think he's got the highest ceiling. I think technically gifted wise, I think he is the top. I think him and Enciso were the 2 top. I think injuries and unfortunately just whatever happened to Julio just went wrong for him. But I think Facundo is in that bracket of like top potential. He's not got attitude problems. He's not been one to really complain at all. And naturally, I think I said it on a few podcasts ago, but if he were to leave, I would imagine he's the sort of person that would be going because he feels like he can play first team football somewhere else, and fair enough, right? I think he's a top potential player. And by that logic, he wants to play every week and probably not spend time on loan. O'Reilly's a player that I could see him playing box to box next to someone like Belieber. But then I guess you're sacrificing a bit of a ball winner. O'Reilly's okay at that, but I would say Belieber and Weaver probably you'd have as those ball winners. Even Yao Kuye on early signs looks like he could be that sort of player, but probably not this season based on the loan talk of him. Although I think, could he come back in January? Could that be a Caicedo moment, do you reckon? He goes away, comes back in January?
Yeah, he's sort of in a similar mould, isn't he? Where he's a bit of an unknown, but we know he's good, but we just don't know how good yet. And he hasn't got the experience, and he's still 18, 19.
19, yeah.
So, I think, I'd agree he's not one for this season just yet, but January might need him.
January's always the point where the squad almost changes isn't it? From what you go into the season. I think last season we started with, was it Milner and, I want to say Belieber or Weaver. I think it was Milner and Weaver at the beginning of the season. It was before Belieber even really broke into the squad properly. Which is quite insane, really. If you remember that 3-0 Everton winner, right at the beginning of when Hertzler first came in, he insisted on playing Milner every week, and he was loving playing Milner every week. And just how much it changes, it happens every year. And I do feel like the one that will really, really bite us is Buonanotte. I just feel like he'll go somewhere and look the part, and when he's got that big fish sort of vibe, I feel like he will be a good player. He nearly had it at Leicester, really, didn't he? But for the sort of fallout. So don't sell Facundo was what we were tweeting on social media, and I think I'm going to keep it up. Yeah,
I agree. Like when some players go, there's normally like a 50-50 split with fans of, keep him now, he's all right, we can go. But Buonanotte, it seems like everyone thinks it's a bad decision that he leaves. So I think that speaks volumes. Like even with João Pedro, it's like we got a load of money for him. Some people said, that's not enough. Some people go, I'll get rid of him. So
I feel like it wasn't enough, I'll be honest. I feel like 55 million for João. We're talking about him as a well-beater. If you said to me in January last season, season, if you said we're going to sell João Pedro for 55 million to Chelsea, I'd have said shut up.
It's not enough. But
no.
Then obviously he didn't want to be here, so it was a good time to go, and we got pretty much doubled our money as well. So, but Buonanotte doesn't seem to have that issue where he's happy here, or at least appears happy here. So, yeah, he's one to keep for me.
The thing was with Facundo as well, just to keep on him for a minute, is similar to what we're talking about Harvey Elliott, where he comes off the right. I feel like he's a very good, versatile player in that he can play through the middle, but he can play off the right. And when I look at that squad depth off the right, you're actually a little bit more limited because Minte is obviously the starter, and I think he will have a fantastic season. I've got a feeling about Minte. Georgie did play off the right occasionally, but I don't think he was anywhere near as effective.
I would agree with that.
So I think I wouldn't class him as a right-sided player. He's very two-footed as well. So realistically, you've only got Minte, then it's March, who's, I don't want to rely on March for minutes at all. No. And that's not to discredit him. I just think,
Has he played pre-season yet? He hasn't
yet,
so he's still injured.
I think he's still having treatment about something. So there's that. Yeah. So realistically, I think it's Minte.
We got Tommy Watson though, haven't we?
Yeah, and he's left-sided. And then we've sold a Dingra, obviously, who did cover at times. So I don't think that right side has that much depth. So really, when you're looking at Facundo, I don't think that squad depth on paper, yes, it looks quite intense. But when you actually break it down, you think, well, George is going to have added responsibility for being a striker because, assuming we don't sign anybody else, which we could. But João Pedro's gone. You don't want to put too much pressure on the Greek kids. I call them Kostoulas and Simas rather than calling them the Greek kids out of respect. And Danny Welbeck's obviously not getting any younger, and he'll admit that. So, striker-wise, Jorginho's probably going to have a little bit of added responsibility in that sense. Left side is somewhat fine, I'd say, provided we keep on the Mitoma. I think De Kuyper is also capable of playing on that left. Okay. So right side, then you're breaking it down. Matt O'Reilly's a number 8, a box-to-box player, so he's not necessarily going to be in that number 10. So these number 10s aren't actually number 10s when you think about it. They're actually, all of a sudden, Buonanotte's looking like second choice. And after a few good games, he's first choice, So that's where things can be very quickly changed. So, I can accept that Buonanotte wants to play first-team football every week, and it might not necessarily be in our hands. But actually, when you break it down, the squad depth isn't actually as kind as it may look on paper, based on the qualities that they all got. I'd say probably Buonanotte's biggest competitor is now Gruda.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
But Gruda, he's an investment for Fabian, and he's an investment that was only last season. So by nature, we're going to keep hold of him. So maybe a little bit of squad bloating was not always a good thing, I guess. But I guess we'll see. But don't sell Facundo is what I'm going to say. So that's the main gist. Was the bit of Facundo. Then obviously Evan Ferguson's now gone officially. And if you looked yesterday, he got 4 goals in his debut. I think it was after about 50 minutes. Then I looked at who he was playing. I think it was 6th Division Italian side. So I think, okay, maybe I won't get too carried away. But the finishes are really promising signs, actually.
Like I said, he needs that confidence, doesn't he? So if he goes there, scores goals, then he'll come back a better player for us, and hopefully we can utilise him. And he's got that swagger he used to have about him when he was a bit younger. Or if it doesn't go so well, then we might get a bit of money for him. But hopefully it's the latter. He does really well, scores loads of goals, wants to stay, wants to prove a point, because Welbeck will be near in retirement by then, and he could become our number 1 striker.
I mean, he's an obvious finisher, isn't he? He's a clinical goal scorer. That's the one thing about Ferguson that can never be in doubt is his goal scoring ability. It's incredible, really. It was generational, wasn't it, a few years ago? Everyone was talking about him as the new Harry Kane. So, I'd hate to see him just disintegrate into nothing. I feel like, Italian managers, especially, what they've got at Roma looks very promising, but you've seen over the years Inzaghi's and you've seen Carlo Ancelotti's, you've obviously De Zerbi here. Like, Italian managers love to get goals, and I feel like that could be one thing for Ferguson that could really, that one-touch finishing that he's so good at doing. If we can see that again, just that confidence, you say, that swagger about him, that's what we need to see. And I think he can do it. I read Andy Naylor's article this morning, I don't know if you did, but it was talking about the eventualities of Ferguson. Obviously, if things go wrong, the next loan won't be quite so kind. It'll probably be lower opposition, probably looking into the Championship and below. But if he was to do well, there's obviously a 40 million release clause. But obviously, Roma aren't known for spending a great deal of money, so there's that thing of, maybe they won't trigger that because they can't afford it. what do you think is the likely scenario if he was to go smash out there? Because it seems as though the club is somewhat talking about him coming back if all goes well. It's a bit conflicting.
Yeah. No, I think it is within mind for him to come back, just for him to get minutes, get goals. So hopefully that is the vision, because I think most fans want him to stay, don't they? So,
yeah, of course.
Speaking of fans, the welcome that he got when he turned up at the airport when he landed, it's just like some little young Irish kid that hasn't really played for a couple of seasons, and he's getting like a hero's worship in an airport. I thought that was that was mad. But no, I think he needs to score. He knows that. He wants to play well for Ireland. He wants to do well at the club. I think he's pretty grounded. So with that in mind, if he does score, and the Italian leagues seem to be quite kind, and like it's more suited to number 9 strikers than the Premier League, so he might well flourish in that division.
I hope so. I really hope so. I will be definitely watching, put it that way, because I really want to see him do well out there, and I think he's got the potential to. I really do. And the next one's Yalkuye. Obviously, I mentioned him last week, and again he's had another good performance in the pre-season, and there's still talk of him going on loan. As you say, he might be a little bit early, but when you look again at the midfielders we've got, I mean, Yasin Ayari is a name that always gets overlooked, and I think he contributed to another goal. He reminds me probably of a similar sort of mould actually to Yalkuye. Maybe Yalkuye is a bit more physical, could be more physical. So a bit of a battle between the two of them this season as to who could be the next big thing. I guess they're both similar ages, and it's just the harsh reality of what our squad is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just a lot of young talent that could be in the next up, but it's so cutthroat, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Yari gets overlooked, but I think it's because of his lack of physicality, where he normally just got pushed off the ball and loses it in situations which always lead to a counter attack. So people kind of got on his back a bit, and then he started scoring and getting assists, and people thought, actually, he's quite a good player. Myself included, I was one that didn't really rate him to begin with, but now I just think he's good. I don't think he's first choice, but he is a really, really good player.
I mean, Hurst loved him, didn't he, last season? He played him a lot, and I think it would come as a massive surprise. But realistically, I saw someone say for a 21-year-old midfielder playing in the Premier League who didn't really set it alight in the Championship, like what do we really expect? And I guess it's quite fair, really. I mean, I spoke to a few Coventry fans, and they said sometimes players are just more made for the Premier League and they're less made for the Championship. And because he's got that sort of technical, he's quite technically gifted, isn't he? He's got that weight of pass, he's got the vision ahead of him, he sort of knows what he's looking for. He's very good. He ended up being a goal scorer towards the end of the season as well. So that sort of technical brilliance that he's got is just maybe a little bit ahead of the Championship, where it's obviously very physically demanding. But at the same time, he's quite rounded. He surprised me, put it that way, Ayari. I feel like he could have another good season. If you were to go through players to watch this year, because I wanted to touch on this a minute. If you were to say these are the top 3 players Brighton need to look out for, if you're a random person that looks up on Google one day and says, Brighton Wonder Kids 2025, who's going to come up this season? Who are you thinking big season ahead?
For me, it's Gruder. Like he was looking so good. Yeah, and then he continued his form into the Euros as well. He's one that excites me. Again, like Ayari, he's very technically gifted, but lacks the physicality. Well, I suppose you can say that about most of our squad. Yeah, and that's why Hurst is trying to do something about it. But yeah, for me, Gruder, I think, has the potential to be really, really good. And then I don't know, something. I really like the look of Coppola as well. He's young, he's big. He might get more of a chance now. It seems like Webster might be injured for a while, so we need to establish a centre-back pair, and I don't know if Dunk's fit enough to do week in, week out. So, yeah, I think Ayari could be up there as well. Just again, he's not up there, but he goes steady about his business, and some people don't really notice him, but that's the sort of thing that makes our team tick. So, I think for excitement, Gruder. For defence, I'll go Coppola.
Nice.
I really, really hope this Babis is really good as well, because he's just like, what is he, 17, 18?
Yeah.
Right? So I think there's a lot of pressure on a big price tag, but I think if he hits the ground running, I think he could be really, really, really good.
That's the thing with players like Kostulas. It's like we spent 30 million on this kid. We spent a lot of money on these two lads, and it's like we really got to be looking at them for goals. To be honest, I mean, we obviously see something in them, and as you say, I feel like he could be something really serious. I hope he is anyway.
He's got to play a minute yet. So.
He looks like a fun guy. So I don't know if you saw the video of him with the seagull, or he's sort of he just
and
looks,
the basketball thing.
So I hope he fits in with Jorginho and Baleba nicely. Just a couple other things. Obviously, Purvis Estepinian's gone officially, which is a massive shame. I will miss Purvis a lot. I really, really liked him as a player. He was one of my favourite left backs I've seen at Brighton, and he had such a difficult time coming in after Cucurella. And obviously Cucurella was just our player of the season, and then he has this sort of massive resurgence. Do you remember he came? The first game he was all over the place, and then he played against Chelsea, and it was like, oh my god, like we've got someone serious now. And then 2023, we're talking about him as the best left back in the league, and I think he deserved that title as well at the time.
And he was my player of the season that year. I thought he was so good.
He was so good, and defensively as well. Like I feel like people forgot how good defensively he was. His blocks against Bournemouth, I'll never forget. Like his last ditch tackling was genuinely really, really solid. And I feel like that's one thing that people just forgot about Purvis. Everyone's like, I can't defend now, just because he's had one sort of underwhelming season, which is a mixture of different variables. So I truly do wish him all the best. I think he deserves a good move, and I really hope he could have done more here. But AC Milan's a great move for him, innit?
Yeah, so I was a bit I didn't agree with the fee. I thought we should have got a lot more for him.
Agree.
Because he still had a bit of time left on his contract. But weirdly, Andy Naylor's article writing about him going, he said he was our third choice left back, and I just thought, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? I'd still have him number one, like the Kuiper. We don't really know where he is. Like he hasn't played too much, and then I guess it'd be Ferdy. Like he's been out injured for a year, so I don't see Purvis as our third choice left back. So I think we needed a bit more money for him, especially with the experience he's got.
I agree. I mean, he's entering his prime years, really. He's 27. Yeah. So I said this to Andy on social media. I said, come on, Andy, he was not third choice. Yeah. And he put on saying, actually, I'm well informed or something like that, or I wouldn't say this without a source. And I didn't want to respond publicly to that sort of person. I'd rather do it over this. And I said, I just think I get what he's saying. Obviously, Hertzler didn't fancy him. Yeah. In other words, reading between the lines, obviously something between Hertzler's style and Purvis's style misaligned, and that's hence why he probably had a bad season, right? Or an underwhelming season. I just think when you compare him to the Purvis that I saw the last 2 years, it would be a massive, stark difference in the Purvis I saw last season. And I feel like it's just changed the perception on Purvis, maybe as saying, oh, he's not good enough for us anymore. And I think I saw even someone say he didn't run enough, or he wasn't good enough. I thought that guy covered so much distance.
He runs more than anyone,
literally. And like even João Pedro, the distance both of them covered was mental. And Purvis as well. We cannot forget last season he went 90 minutes, 120 minutes after flying from 2 games in South America, Ecuador, came back over here and played like 3 games on the trot and played 120 minutes and didn't even take a penalty, but he stayed on to the end of that game. I feel like people like forget these sort of things. I don't forget stuff, and people will say, "Oh, it's nostalgia bias." It's like, no way, come off it, you know. I feel for Purvis's reaction for some of them, but it was a proper goodbye. He got a really nice message. I will be watching him, but no, he's not third choice. I'll say that to the camera. He's not third choice. Was he? But yeah, we'll see what happens. The final one I wanted to mention, because I forgot last time, but then she did it again, was Adjumang. Obviously, she's not an actual Brighton player. I was sort of trying to wind up the Arsenal fans a little bit, but they found it quite funny. But the Brighton player that's actually an Arsenal player was the one that scored to get England into the extra time of the semi-finals of the Euros. Again, they obviously won it a few years ago. Quite incredible, really. Every time I watch the Lionesses, I think surely they can come back again. They somehow do it. You know, 95th minute, 1-0 down, and then they still win the game. It's quite incredible, but it's quite nice to see. Was Alessia Russo here as well? I want to say.
Yeah. She started her early part of her career.
Yeah, she's here as well. So it's quite cool to see 2 Brighton players on the biggest stage, even though they're not Brighton players anymore. But you get the point. Still cool.
No, yeah, it's like just said. So that's a proper togetherness that like loads of teams talk about togetherness in the squad, but that team just doesn't know when they're beaten, and they're in the final for a third tournament in a row now. I think so. Yeah, I don't think they're favourites. So, but if you're in the final,
doesn't
you've got
matter
a chance.
with them, to be honest. Like it really doesn't. I did think it was done last time. I thought surely not, but the more little chances that it comes around, I think. Maybe they're not done. Maybe they're not done. And they did. They've
got to play well at some point, haven't they? So
exactly.
They might make it the final.
Yeah, they did it again. It's quite incredible. So play well in the final, and you never know. But shout out to Ajimang. That was quite a moment. She's only 19 as well. Yeah. Incredible scenes. But just wanted to get that one in there.
Yeah, the women's team lost both the strikers because Nikita Paris has left as well now.
True, actually. Yeah. I mean, the women's the investment has been crazy. I think they were talking about making a new stadium as well, weren't they? Whether they were going to share a similar or like next to the site of the Amex, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can't remember if that's true, by the way. I just remember seeing it somewhere. But I guess we'll wait and see. But it would be quite cool. I think there's got to be a lot more investment into the transport into that area before they start building another stadium. Because it's already chaos as it is. If you're going to put another one there, the whole other ball game. But we'll see what happens. But shout out to Ajimang, shout out to the Lionesses. We'll see what happens in the final, but we'll see. Brett, pretty much everything covered in a short space of time. Anything else we need to mention?
I don't think so. I think we've done it all.
This week in Brighton and Hove Albion, we can call this. This is the new podcast series for the transfer window because there's not too much transfer news on the incoming front. There's not a great deal of fun stuff to talk about at the minute, but it seems like all we're doing is talking about outgoings. But Purvis Estepinian, low fee. João Pedro, low fee. But hey, we'll see what happens next time. Don't sell Facundo. Anyway, we'll see you next time. And make sure you like, if you're on YouTube, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Stream on all the streaming platforms and come to the Caxton Arms. And make sure you get the singer if you can drink. If you don't drink, don't drink. We'll see you soon. And goodbye.